So looking here at the top, we have these numbers. So you see we have 7, 9.5, 12, 14.5. So if this is a pattern, what do you think the next number would be? What are we doing? Adding 2.5. Yeah. So we are adding 2.5. That's our pattern here. We're adding 2.5 over and over again. So now let's figure out what the next four numbers would be. So what's 14.5 plus 2.5? 17. What's 17 plus 2.5? 19.5. What's 19.5 plus 2.5? 22. And what's 22 plus 2.5? 24.5. All right, I don't think, let me grab the notes because I can't remember what you all have to fill in. All right, go ahead and fill in where it says the sequence is arithmetic. So anytime it's addition, because we're going to talk about two different types of sequences. One is addition. That's what homework 23 is focusing on. The second one is multiplication. So if you're adding a number over and over again, that is called an arithmetic sequence. So here is your, go ahead and fill these in here. So this here, this represents our general rule. T1, so here, see how we have a T1? T1 is the first term. And then the next variable we have is D. D represents the common difference. And then I have an N. N is the term number. So that's where those three variables go into the general rule. Common difference is the number that we're adding. So in the example we began with, the common difference was 2.5. So none of these formulas will be provided for you, so you might want to start focus. There's 4 formulas on this next or last quiz. So this is the first one. Yes. So after we, I'm in the process of, I'm going to talk, I know everybody's worried about the final. So Wednesday, we will talk about the final. Well, it's worth 20%. We'll get it really detailed about it. I have to make copies of the final review. So yeah, I'm working on all those things. All right, so let's look at these two sequences. So we have 13, 20, 27, 34. Do you think this is arithmetic? Yes. What number am I adding? 7. So this is arithmetic. And this one, the common difference is 7. Let's look at B. We started at 43, so the first number was 43. The second number is 32. The third number is 21. The fourth number is 10. Is this arithmetic? Yes. Now, we still say addition. So we're adding a negative what? 11. Yep. So this again is arithmetic. And our common difference is negative 11. All right. So now we're going to practice writing a rule. So in order to write a rule, looking at the very top that you wrote, I'm just going to rewrite it. This is the rule. And whenever you're writing the rule, there's two things that we need to know. We need to know T1 and we need to know the common difference. So in this example, We started off with negative 12. That would be my first number. So negative 12 is my first number. And what number am I adding? I went from negative 12 to negative 3 to positive 6 to positive 15. What number am I adding over and over again? 9? Who agrees that it's 9? Anybody struggling with trying to figure that out? And so my number line doesn't start at negative 12. But if you go from negative 3 to positive 6, you can count how many hops. So it's 9 hops. And if you look here, if you're not sure, you can always look at this last number that's positive. 15 minus 6 is 9, so that means I'm adding 9. So if you put in your calculator negative 12 plus 9, you get negative 3. Negative 3 plus 9 is 6. 6 plus 9 is 15. So that's common difference that I'm going to put in my general rule is 9. So this is the rule. Now, once you have a rule, because if we look at this sequence, they gave us the first 4 numbers. So if I want to figure out what the 17th number would be, I don't need to keep adding 9. That means that if I'm trying to find the 17th number, that I'm just going to substitute in a 17 for n. That means n equals 17. So we're going to use this rule that we just wrote in part A in order to find the 17th term. So T17, that stands for term 17. That's going to equal negative 12 plus 9 parentheses 17 minus 1. Go ahead and type that in your calculator. Y is the general rule itself. So if you look at that T1, if you start off by putting a 1, 1 minus 1 will be 0. 0 times 9 is 0. So that'll give you your first term. So that's just our formula. So what did you all get? I don't have my answer key with me. 132. Raise your hand if you had 132. All right. So that would be our 17th number. 132. So now when we look here at part C, notice that they gave us T sub n. So in other words, if I keep adding 9, eventually I'm going to hit the number 267. So to find n, now I'm using this formula and I'm putting my T sub n right here, and then use your algebra skills to solve it for n. So we have 267. And go ahead, looking at part 1 at the top. Negative 12 plus 9 n minus 1. Go ahead and solve that for n. So in other words, what term number is going to give us 267? I'll just rework it out. All right, so now I chose not to distribute. You could have done your algebra differently, but who got 32 for n? Did everybody distribute the 9? Or did anybody divide it out? Okay, you should, either way you get 32. So what that means is that our 32nd number The 32nd number in this sequence is 267. Any questions about our first example? All right, let's move on to the next. All right, when we're looking here, so what kind of function has repeated addition? If you're not sure, that's actually a linear function. A linear function shows repeated addition. So if you have an equation, your slope, the slope in your equation, remember y equals mx plus b, the slope is the common difference. So they gave us our rule. So let's go ahead. So this is the same as y equals mx plus b. What is the slope of this equation? What's the slope? 2. So we have a common difference of 2. That means that in this sequence, we're adding 2. So let's go ahead and find our first term. So find a sub 1. So to find a sub 1, you're going to substitute in a 1 for n. So what is 2 times 1 minus 5? -3. Now, after you have your first term, you can either use your common difference to find the next 3 numbers by adding 2, or you can use your equation and substitute in a 2. And then it said find, what did it say? Find the first 4 terms. So then I'm just going to show you both ways. So either way, if you take -3 and add 2, you get -1. -1 plus 2. So again, you can either use the rule, or you can, after you find that first number, just use the common difference to get the next 3 terms. I don't care which way you do it. Whichever way. Okay, so at the very top, you see where it says the slope is your common difference. So remember y equals mx plus b. The slope is always the number in front of the variable. So this 2 would be my slope. The -5 is my y-intercept. But we don't worry about the y-intercept, just the slope.
Or just in general?
In general, yeah. There isn't a t sub 0. We have to have a first term. So that's why we don't use the y-intercept. These are really good questions. So what would be my next one? So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 5 is 3. So who had these first? These are your first 4 numbers. Who had that? All right, I want you to take a minute and do B by yourself. Now, we'll help you out. What is the slope of B? All right, good. So our common difference is -3. That's the number that's being multiplied by n. That's your common difference. Go ahead and find the first 4 terms. All right, who agrees with my first four terms? Let me go ahead and list them in order. So 4, 1, -2, -5. Who had that for the first four terms? Any questions about how we're working through these so far? All right, let's keep the train going. All right, so now we have to write our rule. So remember, in order to write the rule, we need to know two things. We need to know the first term, and we need to know the common difference. They did not give us the first term. They told us the 15th number. So they told us that T15, the 15th number is 2. My common difference is -4. And what would n be in this situation? What number is 2 in the sequence? The 15th number. So n is 15. N is 15. So we're going to solve for T1. So our equation would be 2 equals, I don't know T1, plus -4. That's kind of messy. I'm just going to say -4. Plus a negative is the same as minus. I just felt like that was messy. Go ahead and solve that for T1. So they gave us the 15th number. So we cannot write a rule with the 15th number. Now, I guess theoretically, you know, if you struggle with this, we know this is 2. I mean, if you wanted to like count backwards 15, that would take a long time. But you could do that too. But either way, we need to figure out what the first number is in this sequence. The easiest way would be to use the formula. All right, so let's do parentheses first. So T2 equals T1 minus 4 times 14. And what is 4 times 14? 28, 56. Is it 56? Okay, minus 56. And what would be my last step to solve this for T1? Add 56. So T1 is 58.
Why was n 15?
So because that 2, do you see how it has that little bitty 15? That's n. That means the 15th number is 2. So now that we have that, we can write our rule. So T sub n equals, now I know my first term, which is 58, plus, well, I'm just going to say minus because it's negative, n minus 1. That's my rule. So now use that rule that we just wrote to find the 5th term. So if I'm trying to find the 5th term, where am I going to substitute that 5? Is that going to be T sub n or just n? N. Good. So we're going to find the 5th number. So that would be 58 minus 4, and then 5 minus 1. Type that in your calculator. And who got 42? So that means that the 5th number in this sequence is 42. All right, I want you to try to do 5 by yourself. 5 is just like 4. So again, for number 5, they told you the 7th number. You need to find the first number. The common difference is 13.
And we could just count backwards.
Yeah, whichever way you want to. Now, if they gave you the 99th number, that might be kind of hard. So I recommend you know how to do it both ways. But I have had someone say, like, we gave you a low number, we gave you the 7th number, so it's not hard to subtract 13 6 times. But if that was the 70th number, are you going to do that 69? I don't know. It's up to you. Yes.
So, can we just do 7 times 13 and subtract that from 79?
Well, you try it and see if that works.
Okay.
Try it and see if that works.
Is it like a genuine question or is that like?
Mm-mm. No. No. I think that's essentially what we're doing, though. Yeah, that's exactly. Well, wait, what did you multiply 13 by?
7.
Well, it wouldn't be 7, though. That's the tricky part. Because what is in this question? What is in?
7.
So this is 7 minus 1. So you're going to take 13 times 6. So you're doing the same thing, except you're trying to do it, which, again, as long as you don't make that mistake that you just tried to make, you good.
So you just do one less of it.
Right. Because see how it's n minus 1. So, yeah, we're taking 1 away from n. I think 13 times 6 is 78. It is. Okay. I worked through all of these examples on Saturday, but... So my rule, so who got that the first number is 1? You got 1 for the first number?
Not even close.
Oh. Oh, yeah, you need to check that again. So again, this is your first number, and then we have to plug in the common difference. So this is my rule. That should be your answer for part 5. Okay. I think we'll be okay. All right, so now we're going to use that rule. Ooh, did they ask us to find a number? What did it tell us to do? Oh, it just said write the rule. So that's your answer. Write the rule. All right, one more question and then, no, actually, we'll end there. We'll end there for today.